What an interesting Sunday. What an interesting week of football. We had a lot of questions answered and a lot of questions kind of still coming up and a lot of, I don't know, Super Bowl contenders kind of going out the window this early in the year. And let's get right into it. Like and subscribe. Keep the bell on. Let's get right into it. Thursday night, Miami Dolphins. Defense continues to struggle quite a bit. It looks like the worst defense in the league. McDaniel's days may be numbered. Bills dominated pretty much every facet of that game from start to finish. Moving into the early slate Sunday, Falcons shocking. You saw the defense on Sunday night, last night or last week against Minnesota, and their pass rush looked fantastic. Pierce was getting after the quarterback. Walker was getting after the quarterback, and then it disappeared against one of the worst teams in football, 30-0. Absolute shocker from the early slate there. Another shocker to shocker back to back. I can't even say Cleveland's kicker's damn right, but Cleveland wins that a game-winning field goal from Andre Sismit. I believe that's how you say it. After Cleveland's own block of their field goal, or of Green Bay's field goal, and that ends Green Bay's 7-game win streak against AFC opponents and ends their 2-0 start to the year. Absolute shocker there. Brian Thomas, after a drop earlier in the second half, comes up huge on the field on the final drive, basically setting up ETN to punch in the game-winning touchdown. Texans, also kind of a shocker, are now 0-3. There's just shockers left and right this week. Jacksonville's kind of fighting with Indianapolis for the AFC South crown, and nobody expected that coming into the year. Another absolute blowout, but a fantastic game from Isaiah Rodgers in the Vikings-Bengals game. Vikings moved to 2-1 even without J.J. McCarthy. I do think that's kind of just Darisaw coming back and offense just starting to click again and again. Jordan Mason had a big game, but Isaiah Rodgers had, per PFF, had the best defensive game ever. 99.4 coverage grade, pick six, fumble recovery, touchdown, 2 fumbles forced, and a pass defended as well. Dude had an insane game. He's not even one of those guys that just is consistently playing at an all-pro level. He's a good player, but he's not otherworldly like today. This was just out of nowhere. 48-10 Minnesota. Minnesota dominated, doubled Cincinnati's yardage. Moving into the most frustrating game of the day for me, and that was the New England-Pittsburgh game. 5 turnovers from the Patriots. 5. Ramondre Stevenson, there are no words to describe how infuriated I was with this man. He has absolutely no reason to be on the football field. Antonio Gibson has special teams value. I see it. He has receiving upside as well. Travion Henderson had a couple bad pass pro snaps, but Travion Henderson needs to be the main back from here on out. It cannot be Gibson. It cannot be Stevenson, unless Stevenson has just something on Mike Vrabel. Pittsburgh's offensive line played very well in this game. That was one of the reasons why they win. I'm not saying New England completely blew this game, but 5 turnovers, 3 of them being fumbles, is one of those things where New England needs to clean that up. But Pittsburgh didn't allow a sack today against a very good New England pass rush. It was a frustrating game, but a good win for Pittsburgh. Nothing to take away from them at all. Moving into the biggest comeback of the day, Philly outsmarting and dismantling Sean McVay in the second half of this football game. Jordan Davis just encapsulated a second block of the fourth quarter from Philadelphia and took it back to the house for a touchdown. That was a beautiful thing to watch as a big man enthusiast. Eagles win 33-26. A.J. Brown finally finds the end zone. Goodness gracious, that was a long time coming. Moving into the Tampa Bay Jets game, Cardiac Baker striking again as he leads a game-winning field goal drive. Shout out Todd Bowles for keeping faith in Chase McLaughlin, even though the Jets blocked that kick. Bucks hold off 21 fourth quarter points from Tyrod Taylor and the Jets and hold on for a 29-27 win. Jonathan Taylor, in the quietest way possible, lights the city of Nashville on fire with a 3-touchdown day, 30 fantasy points, unbelievable day. Indianapolis is something there with that offense. It's unbelievable. Run blocking is there. Offensive line is clicking on all cylinders, and if it continues to, Indianapolis is a threat in the AFC. Elick Iomanner, also of note, slowly turning into one of Cam Ward's go-to guys. I know Calvin Ridley got targeted a lot, but he was underwhelming again. Iomanner has had 2 games in a row with touchdowns. Back-to-back games with a touchdown. And he had 7 targets in the first game. So something to look at with a almost steal per se. Trey Tucker of the Raiders moving into the Raiders-Washington game. Yes, Washington won by 17 points. This wasn't a particularly close game throughout. But 8 catches, 145 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And not enough people were talking about that. No one else showed up, though, for Vegas. This game wasn't close. Vintage Keenan Allen showed up for the Chargers, though. Thank goodness. Found his way back in the fourth quarter with 2 massive catches. Him and Herbert were not clicking early on in this football game. And they found their way back. Justin Herbert wins another duel of the Oregon quarterbacks. Denver is struggling mightily with these discipline issues. It was just a common issue the whole game. Bo Nix didn't look particularly great either. It's not a Super Bowl level discipline, and I was expecting more out of this football team, especially with the new additions. The unnecessary roughness call on Hufanga late in the game. That was unbelievable. Like, what are we doing here? Another heartbreaker for Denver. They got to figure that out, man. It's rough out there. Torrey Horton for Seattle looks like an absolute steal for Seattle. Receiving touchdown, punt return touchdown in an absolute rout of the Saints. A 30-point victory for the Seattle Seahawks. And before we get into the Bears-Cowboys game, I want to remind everybody to like and subscribe. I'm doing this all in one take. Please, 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 please show me some love in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can improve. That's always something I'm looking forward to every single time I make one of these. Especially, I'd love to do these in one take. It is very late tonight. I appreciate everybody who's sitting down and watching this on Monday morning. Now, as we move into the Bears-Cowboys game, Caleb Williams by far had the best game of his career yesterday. Best touch I've seen from him at the pro level, period. 5 guys with at least 3 catches, and he's making Odunze look like his number 1 wide receiver, as he should be. Colson Loveland showed up a little bit as well today. 31-14 Bears. This was close up until about late in the third quarter, and then the Bears kind of ran away with it. Cardinals lose a heartbreaker and lose James Conner for the year. Mac Jones leads Niners game-winning field goal drive, much to my dismay. 16-15 San Francisco. They moved to 3-0 and at the top of the NFC West. And moving into the Sunday night football game, Cam Skattebo was the only bright spot for these Giants. Unbelievable, just left and right. Russell Wilson was terrible. They lose to the mighty Chiefs and Tyquan Thornton. Patrick Mahomes. Moving on to the Monday night football game between the Baltimore Ravens and Detroit Lions. Line is 53.5 on the over-under. Baltimore's favored by 4.5. I think Baltimore probably not going to cover. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I would definitely take the under. The weather's not going to be particularly great. Questions will raise if other blows out, or for the other if one of them blows each other out. Baltimore's got to get things going on defense, and Detroit's got to keep things moving on offense. I really think Jahmyr Gibbs is the make or break piece of this offense. We will see tomorrow night. I, again, think Detroit's going to cover, but I think Baltimore sneaks out with a win at home. Like and subscribe for more. There will be another recap kind of slowly coming into the upcoming weeks. Definitely will spend kind of less time on the winless teams and the less appealing games, and definitely on the more appealing games as time goes on. We'll also kind of tap into draft stuff as well. So yeah, guys, hit the bell. Have a good one.